Wardrobe malfunction. We're gonna fix this. All right, YouTube, we are back. We got dynamic effort upper body. Number 2 posted of dynamic effort upper body. We posted one last week, but similar setup: vertical press, a lot of movements, crawling, a lot of shoulder movements, I should say, crawling. We got some. We have 30 total chin-ups today. Again, continue to build up volume, and the chin-ups and pull-ups will alternate chin-ups and then pull-ups back and forth each time. 30 total there. We'll just keep ripping reps there. On that one, we got some plyometric throws with the upper body. I will hit my swings later in the day. So this is workout first, swings later. Our field is taken right now, so I wasn't able to get the swings in this morning like normal. But yeah, looking forward to it. Felt pretty good. Feel pretty good from yesterday. Thought I was going to be a little bit more beat up from the snatching and the Bulgarians than I was, but it wasn't too bad. Usually I'm a sore day after type guy. I'm not a 48-hour guy, so that's a good sign. We got a bat speed day today later, so it'll be good. Little. I actually usually I like lifting before hitting. Just if I were going to peak, I just feel better. Like feel a little bit more warmed up. Sometimes I feel like I can go through the motions and warm up for a bit, hitting, and then like I kind of like waste a lot of swings for no reason other than I just didn't wasn't like totally there. Not that they're wasted, but it's not full intent. Whereas if I work out then I swing, like you work out, you're pretty fucking ready to go. So yeah, let's get it. I'll get the rants done while we lift. So I don't even know what we're going to rant about today. Maybe we just lift and it's all silent and it's peaceful. Probably not, but we'll kind of see where it goes. But appreciate you guys watching. Appreciate the support, comments, likes. You guys are crushing it there. Super helpful to know where I want to take this, know what's working, know what's not. Yeah, if you guys got good clips, I keep getting sent clips. The yesterday, if you had a happy childhood, clip was sent to me a couple times. So if you got good clips, send them to me. I'll use them on Instagram, and it's helpful. Thank you guys for watching. Boom, let's do this. All right, so to start today, I'm 3 rounds deep, so took out the pump cover, got a little bit warmed up. First couple rounds, we got these kneeling dumbbell side presses. So I'm gonna be here, bend to side, press up and over. Same thing as we talked about before. Just moving the spine, adding that in throughout the series of main movements there. And I really like these lengthened positions. I think a lot of what we do in strength conditioning, again, this is anecdotal. This is not science-based. It's not even my most worked out theory. But everything we do is kind of short, pressed, tight. And you see a lot of athletes that do a lot of things that my background was, and you short, pressed, tight. Not very good in these long positions. And I think you just start to implement some of these longer positions into your training. You feel better, you move better, you feel almost long. It's a weird way to describe it, but you feel loose, you feel long, you feel like the ability to get out there for a lot of things. And I've been really enjoying that thought process. So we're gonna be here, side bend, press, then we come back in here. We just got 6 of these. Goal is not a bunch of weight here. Just open up that lat, side body, QL. Feel a little bit better. Get some oblique work in there. Oh, I like these for overhead pressing motions after. I think it just frees up a lot of the shoulder things that we struggle with. I feel really good after these. I have no idea. I can't talk and count, bro. I'm gonna do like 3 more each side. Here. Boom, just like that. So nice and money for opening up. Start the workout off. Then we'll hit these. We got 1 arm presses. I'll show you those. Those are pretty spicy. Super excited with those. We got plyometric push-ups, and then 1 more shoulder rotation thing. Kind of show after that. But today's lift is for sure the shortest lift. Normally when we're on the field, it's the longest time we're on the field with our athletes. So we'll spend the most time doing agility type stuff today. And then today, again, a lot of rotational stuff for the shoulders, spine, unconditional. Oh my God, I drank a Ghost. You see it in the background? I chugged that right before. Oh, and I got some hiccups now. But a lot of unconventional strength there, working the shoulders in a bunch of different ranges of motion. And something that I really have found these days to make me feel better. I feel like I get a ton of work in. You still get the pump in if you want the hypertrophy work. This would be a day you'd put a ton of hypertrophy work in, and then big emphasis on the movement aspect, agility aspect out there on the turf. Don't record that just because I'm not with my athletes there, and my agility right now is softball. So we'll get to the single arm presses, and then we'll go band assisted plyo push-ups, and then we'll go to the stretch over here. So see you in a bit. So we're gonna hit these single arm presses, not a javelin press. The javelin press bars this way, pressing that way a little bit more easier. Not incredibly easier, but the grip's a little bit better. It's a little bit more of a natural pressing motion. This one's going to be straight on here, a lot more grip and involved in that hand. You feel the hand and elbow work and stabilizing everything there. Big fan of these, actually. These felt really good. This is the first time trying this lift. We got 15s on each side here. But yeah, I really enjoy this lift. It's a lot of times I find when athletes have issues with shoulder pressing, if you give them a unilateral option to press with, that pain kind of goes away, and you find it. I don't know how to describe it. You find like a more natural way to press because you kind of sink and press all the way through. That shoulder kind of rotates into a better position. Rather when a lot of times when you're stuck here, that's when if you don't have the shoulder mobility, or a lot of times it's the T spine, the spine's locked up, you kind of just force yourself through this rounded shoulder position, and a lot of athletes kind of struggle there. That's not to say avoid double arm pressing motions. It's just get fucking better at them. But if you can't double arm press, a lot of times the unilateral press will just a little bit more of a natural pressing motion for a lot of people. And if you're a QB or pitcher and you're in season or something like that, the unilateral press, I'm not saying do this one in season, but even like a single arm dumbbell press or single arm Z press or landmine press is a big one. I think it just puts that shoulder in a little bit better position. And if you don't want your athletes to whine, I think a lot of times giving them things that feel good, again, is important. So we'll hit here. We got 5 rep max here. We'll see how heavy this is. Third set here. Nice. Yeah. When you press on those, you really feel that fucking oblique core firing, man. I as woo-woo-y as it is, again, a lot of stuff we talk about, it's tough to describe in an Instagram post and not sound like fucking Seedman. But I think there is some aspect to functional strength in quotations in how an athlete feels, how an athlete moves, their confidence in their own body. And man, I can't tell you how much sense doing the functional, like in functional strength in quotations, where I can just go pick up any barbell. Like I've never done this lift before. I'm doing most people in our gym today because I've done this is the functional part for longer. And so like my body adapts to different levels of strength much better. And the confidence you can bring into your body there and just how your body feels strength wise, I think is money. That's not to say get rid of the traditional lifts. I think you just keep rotating them in as you normally do. That I think there's something to be said. And again, it's hard to describe that on Instagram in the 1 minute post without looking like a Seedman, because so many people have butchered where it's only functional and there's only like whatever, like however they take it. But I think there's a benefit there that people kind of throw out with the bathwater with some of these lifts, just because it's easy to do. It's easy to fucking market that you're an anti-Seedman guy, and I get that part of it. And I get being anti-Seedman. I get being anti that message where it's all functional, it's all made up. But I don't think everything that is in the functional world, the old man, the old strength training, the old I'm blanking on the name, powerlifting, the old like circus strength guys. I think there's a lot of good stuff there that we kind of forgot about or forget. And I think range of strength and Atlas are really, really good examples of, if you take the old principles and apply them in a smart way, how freaky you can really become. And I've noticed it a lot in my own body of being capable in a lot of different ways, being stronger without being as beat up as before, and just having more tools in your toolbox to find and work with athletes. So try some of these things out before you just fucking shit on them because it's fun to shit on, or just shit on them, who cares? But at least know that's why you're doing it, not for the athlete like some people. Virtue signal across. Oh, this probably should be one of the time when I talk about how I talk about myself. When I lift, I had somebody tell me today. Here, I'll set you down here. Let's see if this is high enough. On the lower, so you can see the Ninja Turtles. I had somebody tell me today, hey, don't call yourself a bitch before you lift. Hey, don't say those things. And I was like, well, why? And I was like, I agree, definitely shouldn't do it, but like, why are you saying that? And like, because I catch myself. This person was saying that to me. She's like, I catch myself saying it before I lift now or before I do things, because you do it and people look up to you, and they copy what you do whether you know it or not. And I think that was totally right. Like, so the couple rants there, like the power of leadership, and the cross that you bear. That's gonna sound very, I don't know how to say it in a way that I won't get canceled, but the cross of leadership, like, but there is a thing you have to wear when you become a leader. You deem yourself a leader. You have people following you, or you do have to carry yourself in a different way. And I think it's a beautiful thing because without doing that, I could just say whatever the fuck I want to myself because nobody's actually watching. Nobody. So it levels my own ability up. Like I level myself up through that process, becoming a better person, talking about myself in a better way. Dude just ate shit on a soccer ball. That was very unathletic. But yeah, understanding that there's always eyeballs on you, and that's for everybody. Most people listening to this podcast or YouTube thing, like, there's going to be eyes on you throughout your day, whether you know it or not. I wasn't even thinking about like calling myself anything before I lift. It was just get myself hyped. I just don't think it's the best way to do it, and I definitely don't want other people grabbing what I do and going to go do that. I don't think talking about yourself in that way at any time is a very um, positive thing for you in your life. And I think it's a lot of subconsciously how you view yourself, and it gets you to a state that you're able to do the thing in the moment, but long term, it's taking away from your life and how you view yourself and how you talk about yourself. So um, I was thankful for that message of, hey, stop saying that. But also, I want to have the message out there of like, if I'm saying things like that, don't like, I'm just talking to myself. I'm in this fucking weight room alone doing things, and not everything that I do is right at all. Not everything that I say is right at all. And there's many things that you should definitely ignore me on and not copy. Talk about it all the time. It's like better to just be a happy, healthy, average person than a fucking crazy mad scientist that most people watching. Like if you're watching the YouTube thing, you're probably one of the bad scientists in life. So I get that we have selected and cleared out a lot of that, but kind of just ranting there. Anyways, yeah, talk better about myself and talk better about yourselves. I think it is a big thing. It's the things you say over and over again, or how you view yourself, and how you view yourself definitely matters. So that message, and then the message of, if you're a leader, you have the responsibility to be a better person for people that are watching you, whether you have millions of people watching you or you have one person watching you. It's your little niece or nephew. And I think the power of the cross that you bear for leadership, the pressure that you have for leadership, 100% pays itself off by it allowing you to level yourself up. If just your niece or nephew is watching you, you should become the best uncle that you could possibly ever become. And that's going to make your life so much better. You did it existentially for the niece or the nephew or the person that's watching you and following you, but it leveled up your life. So it helped their life and your life, and it's kind of how I believe you change the world for the better. So don't set down that cross of leadership. I know a lot of people under that pressure, they don't do well, and that's where you get the do this. Oh, I just don't care. I'm not trying. It's like, no, that's not it at all. You have everybody watching you, and you aren't very good with the pressure of it, and you just need somebody to talk you through the pressure and understand that it's okay to struggle there with that pressure. And I totally get that part's is not super easy, but the power that leadership can have for you and those around you is unmistaken, and it's why the human race is what it is because leaders took hold of that power, decided to better their lives, and through that process of bettering their lives, better the lives of others around them. So don't set down that cross and talk better about yourself. That's kind of the whole rant there. That was not as clear as I would like it. I got people screaming. This is not an excuse, but I'm a little distracted by this screaming. They're like about the fight in this soccer. I don't think you can hear it because it's Mike. Mike does a pretty good job of cutting out all of the noise, but yeah, they're screaming. So I need a little bit of better studio to hit these rounds. But we're gonna hit some chin-ups here. Kind of talk about the chin-up setup, and then we got plyo push-ups and rotation. So let's do it. So on these plyo push-ups here, we're gonna work a little bit of the disinhibition kind of method here. So our goal is to come up, touch the chest, come all the way back down, come back up before we hit the ground with our chest. See how many times we can do that in a row. I really like this velocity kind of side of training. How fast can you move your limbs with no external stimulus? The best athletes I have, the fastest athletes I have, the twitchiest athletes I have are able to do this as fast as humanly possible. Slower athletes, not as well. But what I have found here is it is definitely, as much as people argue that it's not, I have 1,000,000% seen it be trainable factor. You can 1,000,000% train your body, and I believe it's more of a synchronizing thing, synchronizing the muscles to turn on and off as fast as possible, less of a force thing. And I think getting stronger and doing all those things is great. And again, as you see throughout the program, it's not cut all of that out to do any of this. I'm going to suffocate myself with this band as I'm talking, but it's implementing just some of these things because it is a trainable factor, and I've seen it be trainable, and I think it's more on-off synchronization rather than the like changing of fiber types, which is like, well, it's not trainable. It's like I've seen athletes get twitchier, faster, more explosive, more reflexive, and I think a big piece of it is implementing some of these things. So we come up, touch the chest, get down before we go here. Come here. Might have to slow this down. It's so fast. Oh, just like that. So first one, what you see there, and what you see with a lot of non-twitchy athletes is that glitch, okay? So we're trying to push the speed where you get that glitch. You're trying to push efforts where you get that glitch, and then you're trying to get rid of that glitch as fast as possible. So when I would have first started doing this probably 5 years ago, would have glitched the whole time, or just would not have been able to like do that. My body would have been fucking producing force at the wazoo and not able to on off, in through. And now what I've noticed is you notice the glitches, you fix them faster, and you have way less of them. And I believe there's a lot to be said about the athleticism aspect of those that you can have. So that's just one. That's probably the lowest example of a disinhibition type exercise. The most normal example, the easiest way to implement some of these things, but kind of the thought process around them. And as we get weirder, I'll show you some more like heel taps, twerks, leg shakes, arm shakes, things like that I think you can build into your program, and I continue to build into my program, and I feel like there's a lot of really good stuff there that smarter people than me can take and program with their athletes as well. So that's the band assist push-ups. We hit our last set there. We'll hit these shoulder twists, and we'll hit some accessories. Almost done. Let's do it. So final thing of the first superset. Just got some rotations here. So the goal is just to explore on the ring. So I like adding explorative type exercises into the main block where the athlete gets to pick, I get to pick. I got some freedom to choose what the exercise actually looks like. So the only thing that I picked was you have to grab onto this bar and you have to rotate. Okay, so that's the only pick. And you can come up, you can rotate through here. You can find as many different rotations. You can keep your feet stationary. You can rotate the arm around. You can find as many different rotations as you can there. You can rotate the arm and the body. Find as many different spots as you can. And literally, we're just free flowing. I think more than anything, you get the feel base, find a lot of cool positions here. But more than anything, just giving the athlete a little bit of control over their movement practice. Understand, not everything is set in stone. I think there's a lot of freedom there that the athlete can kind of enjoy, find, and for long term, again, we're trying to build out long-term movers, learners and lovers of movement, right? So you give them some control over their own programming. Then they can leave and they understand, not everything needs to be set in stone. I don't need a coach. I don't need a program. I just need a fucking ring on the wall, right? So I think that's incredibly freeing. I also believe there's a lot of really cool stuff that you'll never find you'll never be able to program some of these positions that some of my athletes found this morning. You'll never be able to program all of them because they're finding them organically. You can't be like, okay, 10 sets of what? You're going to say 10 sets of behind the back ring rotations here, into all the way around. Yeah, I don't know if you're going to be able to find all the positions that are just organically found. And you're just getting some shoulder range of motion here, shoulder movement, spine movement, T-spine movement, and let the athlete work on what they want to work on. And sometimes with these exercises, that day the athlete's just not super interested in it, and they'll just hang here, and then they hang there for that day. And you can accept, you don't need to take that as an ego hit as a coach. Maybe the athlete's just tired. Maybe they're just not there. Maybe you can inspire them a little bit and show them different movements. You don't have to. It's like, well, what if they don't? What if they don't? And they don't that day, okay? Again, long-term movement practices. That is our goal. It's not about the fucking singular session. and what or the singular exercise in the singular session. If it's not a hit, it's not a hit. And sometimes maybe just the exercise sucks, or your instruction sucks, or your environment sucks too. Definitely have had that with some exercises, and then you just adapt. And that's part of being a coach. That's part of being a movement artist, I should say, if you want to say it that way. Like just coming up with different things on the fly, accepting when your shit sucks, experimenting with new stuff, and going from there. So just gonna hang out on this ring for a couple more seconds, and then we'll go to our accessories. Ooh. All right, and then we'll hit our last set of some chin-ups here. Ripping it with the cool vest. 30 total chin-ups today. Just ripping them all with this 35 on. Oh, I'm going to lose my hair. I should have put my hair up. Oh, there we go. Things I do for the gram. Ah, all right. So I should buckle up that vest much better. But, yeah. Giant sets like we talked about last week. Just a nice way to get a lot of volume in whatever you're doing. So just 30 total pull-ups. We'll just keep adding fives to those for a little bit. Last week we did 30 total pull-ups. This week we got chin-ups. Then we'll go pull-ups. Then we'll go chin-ups and just back and forth until I get kind of bored of it. You never know when that'll be. Just kind of going here, ripping these. Oof. 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 Ah, 1, 2. I lied. I got one more set of those. I thought that was the final set. But I'll keep this vest on. We'll get some dips. We got the same thing with dips. Giant set of dips, 50 total dips. And we'll go over there. Lighting is not super great over here with that window behind us. But yeah, ripping just sets of dips. We got 50 total. Just rip as many as we can with the 35. Just keep hitting as many sets as it takes. Again, I think the giant sets are really, really nice for having more weight throughout the reps. I think a lot of times when you just program like 3 sets of 10, you get so fatigued by the end. Whereas when I split up the 30 total reps into as many sets as it took with the 35, same thing with these. Like I just pick my weight that I want to do, and then as many sets as it takes for the 50. And if I start completing it in under like 2 sets, then I have to go up in weight. So that's a cool way to run the clusters. Cool way to run the density type sets is pick your weight that you want to be able to perform. Keep doing that until you can complete it in under like 1 set or 2. So if I was ripping 15 pull-ups at a time with this and I completed all 30 in 2, then I would need to up the weight and just keep progressing that way if you like progression exercises that way. I don't really program that way for myself, but it's definitely a way to do it for sure. So we go here. I should have put this weight on the back. It's going to get really annoying. Yeah, we're gonna flip that around before we kill ourselves. That's gonna probably shouldn't say that. I mean, that was a joke. I meant like actually hurt ourselves because of the equipment, not actually for the PC crowd. I should buckle this up. So when you see me struggling with this, it's because I'm being lazy and not hooking it up. It has nothing to do with the actual thing. It works. We might have to cut the camera because I'm getting fucking choked here, but we'll see. Oh yeah. All right. Wardrobe malfunction. We're gonna fix this. Now we got the hair up. We look all sorts of pretty here. Much better lighting. Thing is strapped up. Do things right the first time, man. And then you don't have to reset your camera and look like a fool on the gram. But yeah, trying to keep this as organic as possible. So when I look like a naff or do stupid shit with my equipment, you can see that it's part of natural lifting. Like I think a lot of times when you're just posting on Instagram and you're doing things, it's like everything is so smooth. And I think if you were new to lifting, or not even new, but just it's not your life, you might be like, well, I fuck up all the time when I'm doing my lifts. Like, what's going on? Like, how do they have it so dialed in? It's like, it's not. A lot of what we do is stupid and awkward, and you fuck around and you mess around, and things aren't perfect. You're on your phone sometimes when you lift, talking to a buddy for too long in between sets. Like, all these things happen. To the highest level lifters and the lowest level lifters. Like, everybody does it. Every lifter I've ever lifted with that doesn't suck as a person has these issues, equipment issues, whatever. You mess up things. Okay, so it's if you're new to lifting, it's okay. Everybody messes up. Not a participation trophy thing, just a real thing. I always forget sometimes how in the world of training I am until I talk to some high schoolers that I train, and it's like, oh my god, I didn't know you did that too. It's like, yeah, everybody does, bro. We're all human. Oh man, okay, maybe the best isn't the best for dips. This thing was kind of getting in my way. I probably should have done that, but yeah, backpack. I think if I load the front and the back, it's not as saggy. It's really good for pull-ups, but that was kind of an awkward spot to be in. But dips, we got some isos yet, some carries, some stretches, and then we're all done. Pretty quick lift today. Let's do it. All right, so we have a couple more accessories, but my phone is at 1%. So this will be the last one I record. The rest, I just got a half pigeon stretch, a neck iso, and some farmer carries. Stuff pretty basic there. But little handcuff iso, the same movement we had last week, except we'll add an iso to it and hold that position. So we got a 1 minute hold behind, really trying to drive those shoulder blades back here. I really like doing this with movements, either starting with an iso, then progressing to reps, or doing reps and then progressing to isos, and then finishing with isos or reps into isos. But just basic way to progress and build up different ranges of motion and different movement patterns here. So we got this position here. We just got a 1 minute hold into here. Ideally, my shoulder blades, my right shoulder specifically, isn't as mobile as I'd like it to be. You can feel it dumping forward. Really trying to pull everything back and try not to have it rest on my butt. But immobility here isn't the best here. But yeah, hold for a minute banger here. Like 20 seconds left. These feel really, really good. I really enjoyed the first set of these. Athletes were talking about how they like the feeling of these as well. I think I honestly liked the reps better just because you can't sit on the butt as much. But again, that's part of the experiment. You still get the chest stretch, and again, get some of the feel base. I like the isometrics because you can feel the movement and build up into it. And like right now, I'm feeling that right shoulder dump. I'm like, oh, can spend a little bit more time on that right shoulder, messing around, and we'll come back down there. So that'll be our workout today. Again, I'll come back, hit the half pigeons, hit the isos there, kind of crush those, and then I'll come back later today, hit the impulses and bat speed day. I won't record the softball swings unless you guys really want them. So just let me know there. When we're outdoors, I think it looks way cooler. It's pretty tough to make look cool when we're hitting into a net over and over again. But the rest of the day, I just got to make a post. I got baseball that I have to train later. Might go climbing with one of my good buddies. One of my athletes here wants to go climbing tonight, and that'll be fun. So rip those. That probably brings up a good point. So when I go climbing, or you have to pitch today, or you have practice, one of the big things that I would get, like, let's say I'm training a climber and we have pull-ups planned in the workout. You're like, well, I'm going to climb tonight. Do I have to do pull-ups? And yes, the answer is yes. What I find a lot of times when you start cutting stuff out of your program because of something else, you end up with no program. Like at the end of the day, there's no substance to your program. If you're able to take stuff out of your program because of whatever, like at the end of the day, you could well, I'm running in practice, let's not sprint. I'm jumping in practice, let's not sprint. I'm lifting somebody in practice, let's not lift. And the more you push it, the more you get into that realm of things, the more you turn into this 3x10 model of the minimum effective dose, man. It's like, bro, what are we talking about? Like, it's a silly, like, minimum effective dose originally was a great idea. It's like high levels of stimulus, and you don't have to have a ton of volume. Don't have a ton of ways to do it. You just give a massive, like a really good stimulus, and then you can get out. Now it's like we shifted that into, we give no stimulus, no volume, no actual lifting, no actual jumping, no actual sprinting. We're just going to take care of our bodies. It turns into that kind of thing, and everybody feels worse at the end of it. They're less capable, they're less stable. So I really feel like we have butchered the minimum effective dose kind of model in that setting. Like, minimum effective dose is high stimulus. You don't need a lot of a high stimulus. You just give a high stimulus, but you need to give a high stimulus or you get no change. And if you don't give that high stimulus, you're giving no dose. It's not minimum effective dose. You're giving no dose and trying to wrap it around. Oh, my athletes feel like whatever, like I felt good at practice. Yeah, for the day, because you didn't do anything, you know? And that's not even true for most athletes. Like a lot of times, if you actually stimulate them in the weight room, they'll feel better at practice too. But I feel like the more you cut stuff out and the more you justify, well, I have this, you just end up with no program, okay? So the big thing I've been, again, I feel like I'm a liberal strength coach myself and try to give my athletes ownership, and we talked about that today. But the more my athletes ask for outs, the less I give it, and the more they thank me for it later. But it's like, I have a bullpen today. I don't care. I don't care if you have a bullpen. You're training today. This is your training. That's your bullpen, and this training is going to lead to a better bullpen down the road. But so many athletes are trying to peak for just a bunch of bullshit, man, and it's their ego getting in the way. It's like, well, if I don't throw good at my bullpen today, I'm not a good athlete. It's like that's a self-worth thing right there that we need to work on and we need to develop. And you develop that through data points of work. You prove that to yourself over and over again. You don't lie to yourself and say, well, or that you get a random like bullpen win because you didn't train it all the day. Like, you know, deep down that wasn't what it was. So don't let your ego get in the way. Don't be the same athlete you were 4 years ago today. Like, in 4 years, you should be a completely different athlete if you train the right way. And if you're not a completely different athlete, it's because you're cutting too much shit out. You're justifying too much crap, and somebody's allowing you to do that. And I just don't think it's the truth. I think you should allow athletes to get out of their own way for their ego, give them data points to prove they're capable and worthy, and then they don't have to sit with these small wins. Like, oh, I threw fast at my bullpen. Okay. Nobody gives a fuck about your bullpen. You got to go pitch in 4 months. Are you a better athlete then? No, because we peaked for your bullpen fucking 12 times a week that you threw. Like, no. So I think there's a big piece to that. We got these guys yelling at their pickup soccer game here. Talk about intensity. These guys bring intensity. But yeah, so that's just the minimum effective dose and kind of rant there for me. That's about it.